I sat in the living room sorting the clothes I ordered for the baby. I still can't believe we are having a girl. I'm so excited. She is going to be adorable. You are glowing, Ogla spoke, and I gave her my big-ass smile that I almost lost, after what he pulled, of course, due to his mission. He handed me the juice and I took it, and we both started looking at the adorable clothes. I can't wait to hold her. I'm exactly 21 weeks today. My eyes fell on my left hand and the empty ring finger. It pains me every time I see it empty, but I believe in my love. I know he will give it back to me. I have faith, but that empty fingers brings back those memories when he was not here and considered dead. But the beautiful pink dress in front of me outshines it and brings back a beautiful memory of us.
What are you thinking?
He asked as I lay on his chest, bare and tired. His fingers leisurely scroll across my back, and I got goosebumps. Do you like children? I asked, and stared at him, and he stared at me.
Why do you ask?
He asked, and sat back on my butt. My cherries jiggled and his eyes zeroed on them. I snapped my fingers. Hey, I called. Here. I pointed at my eyes. One moment I was ordering him, and the order underneath him at his mercy with wrists bound on his huge hand.
What were you saying?
He taunted me, and I pouted. I chuckled, a rare occurrence for me, and pecked my pouted lips.
Okay, fine. I don't know. They are naughty. They don't follow orders.
But they are cute and soft and... He placed his index on my lips.
I'm still talking. They are chaos makers, and I don't like things that are not in order.
My pout vanished and looked down. He cupped my chin in a firm yet gentle hold.
Eyes, Lenochka. So what I was saying. Yeah, they are simply devils, but I would like nothing more to see this belly swell with my air in there.
He ended, and my full-bloom smile returned. A boy? I asked. A girl first. He spoke, and I bit my lower lip.
Say it. I know you can't hold it.
He spoke, and I smiled ear to ear. An heir means boy, but you want a girl and I want a mini you, I told him with a pout.
And I want a mini you,
he whispered, smooching my neck. I giggled as it tickled. Careful, sir? You might not be able to handle another me. I taunted him, and he invaded his monster in me in one go, and I whimpered.
I handle you just fine, woman.
He rasped and started his game. That's cheating. But I couldn't phrase it. I cannot phrase it. I'm in another realm and losing my head, my body, and my soul to him. All I can do is hold on to him and keep screaming his name. His name until that's the only word I know. My Jeon Jungkook. A thunder shook and brought me back to reality with a flinch. I looked over and Ogla was closing the huge window because a storm started growling out of nowhere. I went to help her, but then another thunder struck. I flinched again and my hands started shivering. I don't like storms. A storm swallowed my parents, and since then when they struck, I can't. No, I can't. It's night. Somewhat after midnight, and the storm didn't stop. It started late in the evening. The wind is blowing outside ragefully, and I can't help but flinch. Ogla is with me telling me sweet words. She knows I don't like thunder. They scare me. She is with me and continues to try his phone. He is not home yet. My hands shook and I tried to control myself. Out of habit, I bit my lower lip, and I have been doing it so since the storm started. At this point, I can taste blood in my mouth. I want him.
I had a meeting with my business partner. After memory loss, people seemed to fear me more for some reason. My business partner was acting sus and scared also. Kostya told me I chopped his 2 fingers because he tried to touch my wife. Except for him, her and Ogla, no one knows about my memory loss. It reflects badly on a man like me. When the weather is bad, almost angry. It's raining and thundering heavily. I saw it on the weather report. It will be clear by tomorrow. Getting out of the car and reaching the door, and I'm wet. Kostya went to his quarter. I took off the coat as it was and entered the house. I feel quiet. Well, she is never quiet. and maybe she is in her room. My shoes are ticking on the wooden floor as I march forward to the living room. I was looking at my phone, and a soft, tiny figure slammed into mine. She hugged me like her life depended on it. I was confused, and she started sniffing, and I looked at her while holding her. Well, that is the first time she hugged me like that. She would sit on my lap or lay her head on my lap, but she sleeps in her room. I try to keep my distance because she does things to the little monster. "What's wrong?" I asked her while pushing her back, but she hugged me even tighter.
Son, she is scared of thunder. A thunderstorm took her parents, and since then she doesn't like thunder.
Ogla spoke, and I listened. "Is there anything to calm her down?" I asked her. "Usually some tea or activity or medicine or food works."
There is.
She spoke hesitantly. I raised my eyebrow.
Only you can calm her down.
She told me, and I took a huge breath in and out. I nodded my head and sent her away. I cupped her thighs, and she wrapped her legs around me. I took her to the couch. She kept her face hidden in my neck. A thunder struck, and she trembled all over. Hey, it's all right. I'm right here," I told her, caressing her back and head. Her stiff body started to sink into me. She kept holding me. Soon she calmed down so the thunder but the heavy rain still splattered the windows heavily. She kept her face in my neck, and she fit perfectly there. I smiled at my own thoughts. But then,
He is holding me. His warm neck is next to my cheek. I rubbed my nose on it, but soon the rubbing turned into licking and kissing. I can't help it. There is a voice screaming at me to stop, but then there is this longing part of me telling me, don't stop. His hands on my waist tightened, and then his manly scent is boosting my pheromones, and I started grinding. The inviting dent was encouraging me. My hands fisted his hair, and I kept going until I was pulled away from his neck. I looked at his neck hungrily, and when I looked at his face, the reality dawned on me. My heart started banging against my ribcage. His lips were thinned, and he was holding me back with my biceps. I was too embarrassed, and the shame rose to my cheeks. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have. I ripped myself away from his lap and his hold. Tears started brimming in my eyes. I ran to the stairs to get to my room. He called me, but I kept going. I'm too embarrassed to face him. I'm mad at me, him and my fate. Suddenly, thunder roared, and I gasped, halting on the stairs. With my shaky hands, I reached for the railing, but the two huge hands beat me to it. He pulled me into his chest, my back pressed to his front. He started but froze when a tear fell on his hand. I tried to untangle myself from him, and he pulled me closer. I sniffed. "Please leave me," I told him, willing my voice not to break. He picked me up in a bridal style and took me to his room. He placed me on his bed gently, and I tried to pull away from him. I want to be alone. It never happened before. He never pushed me away. I shouldn't be mad. He is not him. He called me, but I kept trying to get away from him.
"Jeon in."
He called in an authoritative tone. I froze there. Him or not him? His voice is still his. He grabbed my ankle and pulled me to the edge roughly and hovered over me.
"You do not pull away from me. Do you get that?"
He growled in his controlled voice. I obeyed but didn't look at him. Tears leak from the side of my eyes.
"Eyes, Lenochka."
His tone still authoritative. I made him mad. I did not obey. I'm too mad right now. He held my chin and made me face him.
"Do you get that?"
He asked, and I stared at him defiantly. He didn't cower back either. Of course, John Jungkook never cower back. After a beat, I took in a shaky breath in and out. "I hate you," I whispered, and his eyes turned murderous.
"Say that again, and I won't be too nice."
He growled, barely concealing his anger. I pushed
"Now you are pushing me."
him. He gritted out. Suddenly a jolting pain struck my stomach and I whimpered.
"Mia?"
He called me. I rolled to my side and held my stomach as it again. "Jungkook," I groaned his name. Ah, it hurts so much. I told him and he picked me bridal style and in the rain until I was sitting in the car. My breaths came in pants and I cried out again. My baby? Nothing is going to happen to our baby. He told me while driving. I held his hand tightly and the thunder didn't stop. I feel my energy being drained. My eyes started going blurry and I heard him say,
"Stay with me, baby."
before everything turned black.
She is in there with the doctor. They kicked me out because I was barking orders at everyone. My hands shook. There is only one time in my life when my hands shook, and that was when I bid my last farewell to my mum. Now it's her. The mere thought of something happening to her makes me crazy. I know she is not well. I saw it, her pale face and lips. I don't know what triggered her. I sat outside with my head hanging low and elbows on the knees until a strong hand cupped my shoulder. I looked up. A big man in his 50s stood by me, John J. He tilted his head and stared at me. "You look like shit, dead man." He told me and I couldn't hold back. I hugged him. He hugged me back. "Remember when I bet you that she will have you wrapped around her fingers and you said you can bet $1,000,000 that that won't happen? Now transfer my $1,000,000. He spoke in his deep voice and slapped my back. I haven't seen him in a while. She is a good woman. She knows how to hold her ground. She will be all right. He tells me and we sit side by side. "What happened to her?" he asked. "She is pregnant." I told him after a long silence. I know he doesn't know. Very few people know about her pregnancy, and him being away for business was just it. I couldn't reach him. "She what?" he asked, taken aback. "Are having a baby? Is she in labor? When were you planning to tell this news to your dad, you brat?" He asked all these questions. "She is 21 weeks today. I don't know. She started experiencing pains, and then she blacked out." I told him and he hummed. "Must be the storms. Poor girl is scared of the wrong thing, when she must be scared of you." He spoke and smirked. I stayed quiet. He doesn't know about my memory. "I heard a thing," he started. "What?" I asked, frowning. "That you lost your memory. Well, that was a shit move you pulled by faking your death." He spoke. I stayed quiet. "I lost my memory of her, all the 3 years I spent with her." I told him, and he stared at me. "Well, that's bad. How are you dealing with it?" he asked. "Fine," I told, and he tilted his head while raising his eyebrow. "I don't know. She is nice, kind. She takes my anger and my mood." I told him and became quiet. "What did you do?" he asked. He knows me. I closed my eyes and rubbed my hands over my face. I took the ring from her finger. I told him honestly. He is my man. He brought me up to be the man I am today. "Her wedding ring?" he asked, and I nodded. "And she gave it to you?" He asked and stared at him. If he knows her and me, he would know. He just chuckled. "You are in deep shit, man." He mocked me and I gave him a face. "Okay. One thing you are going to do first is give her ring back, and second, that woman loves you more than you give her credit for." He spoke and I bit my inner cheek. "Thank you for the free advice." I told him with a snarl and he chuckled. I somewhere in my heart know he is right. But I'm going to pretend I didn't just hear that. The doctors gave the green flag. She was just stressed, which caused the baby to stress, and that it should not happen again. She lays there on the hospital bed. Usually I get excited when I see people on this bed, but not her. I want to rip her off of this bed. Her pale face is causing me to turn this place into trash. I want her looking at me with those hazel eyes. I want her to question me, and I want her to ask for her ring from me. She should wake up any minute now. She has been sleeping since last night. Now I want her to get up, because it's getting boring and dull here without her. It's not fun anymore. I traced her fingers with the tip of my index. Bones and flesh met me, But the most exquisite thing is spark when her skin makes contact with me. It's like a generator is being turned and rushing all my blood to the south. Last night was the same when she held me, touched me. I interlaced my fingers with hers and let her take rest for now.